Okay, back again at this saw. I got the clutch all apart. I got the clutch out. So essentially, you've got 4 posts that grab. It's brass, metal, brass, metal. Here's a stack of them. It's like a wet motorcycle clutch. This would be basically your throwout bearing. The spring adjusts, puts pressure down onto the, I guess you could call this your pressure plate / throwout bearing. Here's where it grabs, right here. This would be like your clutch fork, your adjustment for it, and your rod to engage and disengage. Right here in the spool part, sorry, trying to do it with one hand. So this here, right here, slides on like that, and that gets pulled in and out to take pressure on and off the plates. Gonna get a light here. There, we got some light on it. That prong right there that the screwdriver's touching, there's 4 of them down in there. And each one of those grabs onto those. Your inner PTO shaft grabs the center part of these. So one turns the sprocket, and these here grab the sprocket part. This grabs the PTO part to turn the chain. There's your PTO part right down there. Hopefully you can see it. I've had these apart before on other universals and wood bosses, so I understand how it goes. Not the greatest at explaining, but hopefully it makes sense to people that maybe someday want to service these. Like everybody has a 1947 PM Universal, right? Anyway, no, there's probably people out there that would, like to fix theirs, afraid to take the clutch apart. I can fix a lot of stuff, but not the greatest at explaining. Anyway, when I start putting it back together and get it to the adjusting part, I'll turn it back on and show you. So back again on the clutch. Right here in the side of the casing, you got this hole. Somebody had this nut and bolt in there. That's not correct. Here's the correct pin that goes through. It slides through here and it catches the side of this. Bit of better luck here. Goes through like that. You put a pin down through. That holds this whole mechanism in place from popping up and out. All this drops down, and I've lubricated the plates and that. So when I get a little further, I'll be back. Okay, I put all the plates back in there. Got the clutch fork back in. Adjusted up the pressure plate, or what I call the pressure plate. There's the cotter key in there that holds the pin that goes all the way across from popping out and all this coming apart. So this is reverse thread. Left tightens, right loosens. So the more pressure you put in on that nut applies more pressure to the spring, more pressure onto the clutch plates. So right now it's set up. So I turn this, you can see no chains turning. Too dark to see back in there. Get a flashlight again. And catch the angle. Now as I turn it, see the rotating part back there? That's a sprocket. There's a chain running off the crankshaft, running that sprocket that turns the driver on the other side. So this here is your crank. There's a sprocket on here, and a chain going around in there. That's turning. So now when I flip this lever, see what goes on there? Lets the pressure go in and out. Now I got it in, now it's turning the chain. So that's how your clutch works. So now what I got left, clean the points, see if we can get spark, clean the carburetor, make a new gasket for it. Hopefully the seals are still good in the motor. If the seals are still good in the motor, there's no reason it won't go. It's a little bit of play in the throttle shaft. Don't have another carburetor, so hopefully that'll all work out. Because the seals are no good, you know, or the carburetor's no good. I don't have any extras of those. The seals are good, usually they are in these old motors, and the carb's good. We should be able to get up and running. Anyway, when I get more, I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm back again. We're in at the points. I like to get, this flywheel has a spot for a puller way off to the side. Two straight across. You could use a puller on it. I don't have a puller that style. I like to use a brass punch like this. Give the crank a little tap with a hammer and the brass punch. Flywheel just pops right off. To get at it, there was this screen with three screws, one down below the light. Where did my thing go? So right down in here, I guess the camera, I can't see it in the camera, but it says set points at 20 thou. I did. You've all seen me check for spark before. That's just a waste of time. I tried it before I turned the camera on. I got good spark now. So I'm going to put the flywheel back on. I usually spin it off with an impact gun. And then use what I call a butterfly gun. It doesn't have as much torque, just to zip it up gently. The crank nut, and that's all I do with them. Anyway, when I get more, I'll turn it back on. Because the only thing left really is to clean the carb. Then it's a matter of putting some fuel in and see how it runs. I'm just going to put this flywheel back on, put the cover back on. That's going to be it for tonight. The car will be another night. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, I got the carburetor apart. You can see there's some crud down in there. Not sure if you can see right down there's a little cotter key. You pull that. See if I can get that. Right there, I popped it off. We're laying down the bottom. Out come the dirt. There's a little hair clip down there. On the bottom, your needle and seat are right here. That's a drain. I pulled it out. The low speed jet goes right in there. High speed jet goes in here. It was at 3/4 of a turn. I always count them first. That was at a half a turn. And anyway, I'll just reach in, push the pin through the float. There we go. There's another clip on the bottom of it. I know that. It's just easier to push it right through. It'll be alright. So this is actually your needle. It seals right there. Doesn't look too bad. And bolts right there. And I'll have to find the other clip. Anyway, there's a bunch of crud down in there, you can see that. So what I like to do is I like to spray with some penetrating oil. I'll let it sit overnight and then get a little brush and clean it all out. So that's it for now. Talk to you later. Okay, back again just quickly for one last time. This will be the end of part 2. Carburetor's all back on, all ready to go. Interesting little, sorry, lighting's poor. Here's your choke, just a twist. There's your throttle I was talking about earlier. There's, I've already forgotten. Idling all the way back and throttling up that way. And like I was saying before, your hand clutch, you can work either piece. Anyway, that's the end of part 2. Right now everything's all back together. We're ready to try. It's got good spark, carbs clean. Everything's nice and complete. I can't do it right now. We're getting freezing rain. It's just about dark. Hopefully over the next few days, next few shifts I got are evening shifts, so I won't have time to do anything while it's daylight. I can go out any night and start it, but nobody will be able to see much in the dark. Anyway, when I get more, I'll get back to you.